Hey friend, welcome back to the Women's Business Workshop podcast. If we haven't met, I'm Robin Walker, business advisor and educator for small business owners. It is that time of year when I'm helping entrepreneurs create their signature business frameworks so that they can make more confident decisions in their business in the new year, prepare for sustainable growth, and balance time with their families with running a thriving business. Last episode, I shared a fun quiz about your planning type. Most entrepreneurs fit into some pretty common types. If you are the avoider, you're probably not even listening to this episode, but for everyone else, you can see that quiz in the show notes to determine your planning style in your business. We are sticking with the planning topic for today, as it is yearly planning time for most business owners. If you are the head down, only dealing with today type business owner, just take a breath. Because this is not about creating another to-do list. It's not about downloading a random template online. And it's definitely not about making a plan that looks great on paper, but then quietly gets ignored until March. You perfect planners can relate to this. What we're talking about today is how to plan like a CEO, something that you've probably not ever been taught. You may have tried yearly planning before, but it didn't turn out the way that you'd hoped. Most business owners do not fail at planning because they don't care. They fail because no one's ever showed them how to plan in a way that actually supports the business they're building and the life they want to lead. So today, in this episode, I'm walking you through 5 higher level moves that you can make before you plan your year so that when you do sit down to map things out, your plan actually works. Let's dive in. CEO move number 1. Start with who you are becoming, not what you need to do. Let's start here because this is what I see happen commonly with small business owners or entrepreneurs that created their own business and just jumped right in. So a lot of times business owners, when they're planning their year, will start with tasks. What do I need to post? What do I need to sell? What events do I need to attend? What should I add to my calendar? These are all important tasks when you're planning out your year and mapping it out, but that's not what I want you to start with. Professional business owners start somewhere very different. They start with identity. So before you decide what you're doing next year, you might need some clarity on who are you becoming as a business owner? Where were you? Where are you headed? What level of responsibility are you stepping into? Or where do you want to switch your role a little as the CEO of your business? And if you don't call yourself a CEO, that's okay. But what I see is business owners don't see themselves necessarily as a CEO. They see themselves as a service provider. They are just providing the service and they happen to also run the business. So my goal is to help you see yourself more as a CEO and make decisions based on that role versus just being a service provider. So who are you becoming as a business owner was the first one. Second was, what level of responsibility do you want to step into? What do you want your role to look like? And then what kind of leadership does your business need from you now? The truth is that if your business has grown, but your planning still looks like it did 2 years ago, you're constantly going to feel behind. Even when technically things are working, you're going to feel overwhelmed or like you're not keeping up. And this is when you get stuck in that hustle mode, just reacting. You're doing a lot, but you're not necessarily operating with intention. And planning from that same space is just going to create more pressure. We want you to look at your identity as an owner. And this is what I start with. If we do coaching together, we're going to start with your business owner identity. To me, that is the base of everything. If you're a solopreneur or a small business owner with a small team, that's why it's so different than corporate and why your business planning does not look like what someone else's might look like, because your situation is different as an entrepreneur. Each of these CEO moves that I'm going to mention today, I'm also going to have a reflection question for you. I mentioned 3 questions above for you to think about, but my big reflection question for this move is, who do I need to become as a business owner this year for my business to grow in a way that feels sustainable and aligned? Not what tasks are you doing, but who do you need to become as a business owner this year? All right, let's move on to CEO move number 2. I want you to audit what actually worked, not just what you meant to do or what you think worked. I want you to actually audit what worked, looking at the data, looking at the truth of your business. This step is wildly underrated. It's not fancy. It's not always fun. Some of you aren't wired to go back and look. You're forward focused, but it is incredibly powerful to look at the data and look at what worked last year or the year before, what trends are happening. Before you plan forward, you really need to look back with honesty, not with judgment, not with shame, just with curiosity. And instead of asking, why didn't I do everything that I planned? Ask, what actually drove revenue? Where did these leads come from? Where did my ideal clients find me? Who referred me? Or where did they stumble upon my account? Number 2 is, what drained your energy? What part of your business is not working in that it is just draining you so that you are not available for the tasks where you thrive? What do you do consistently without forcing it? What comes naturally for your consistency? Go back and look at what actually worked. In my opinion, every year is not a clean slate. Like, we're building on what we've built. So every year is not a clean slate. We're not scratching everything and starting over. Business owners need refinement. That's what we do as we grow. We refine. Growth doesn't necessarily come from just doing more. It comes from doing less of what isn't working and more of what already is. It sounds obvious, I know, but a lot of times we don't stop and actually do that work. This is going to help you stop building plans based on just wishful thinking and start building plans based on reality. That doesn't mean what you did in the past year is what you have to do or you can't do more than that. Definitely not what I'm saying. That comes into limited mindset, giving yourself a ceiling. But I do think learning more about your business by looking back at the history can be very effective. So your reflection question for move number 2 is, what activities or decisions actually moved my business forward this year and what quietly held me back? Now, if you want these questions in a PDF, you can join our Women's Business Workshop podcast friends list. We have a podcast list where I will send you a notification when we have a new episode that launches and also send you any PDFs that go with current episodes. So if you don't want to be scratching all these down, just sign up in the show notes and I'll send you a PDF. CEO move number 3, choose growth priorities, not a long list of goals. Now, you guys know me, you know I love my goal setting and you know I love having a business goal, but we need to separate strategic planning from busy planning. I've seen business owners, when they say they're planning, they're really creating 5 different goals, 3 new initiatives, 47 ideas that they hope to get to. And they're not based on that data like we just talked about in number 2. And it just causes overwhelm. Who can focus on 5 goals? You end up feeling overwhelmed before the year even starts. You get all excited about all of these, but then nothing really happens, right? When we work together, we don't plan that way. I will not have you have 10 goals and 52 different attraction methods that you're working towards at once. It's too overwhelming. Entrepreneurs wear too many hats to focus on more than one path. And when I work on Signature Business Framework with my clients, and we create your next path. So we create your next one path, a growth priority that anchors everything else. We don't just choose random goals that would be nice or pull numbers out of the air like, what if it's this number? We actually do it strategically, and we choose a strategic focus. And I will tell you that the clients that work through that feel such a sense of relief that they know this is my one path for right now. Yes, we're going to add more methods. We're going to add more as we build, but one thing at a time means you can actually focus on it. You can complete the action steps. You can actually do what you want to do and then measure the growth, see what needs to be tweaked. Often when you have so many goals, they compete for your time. And I know you've heard me say this before, but some of you have competing goals, and then you wonder why you feel like you don't know what to work on next because they're not aligned. So we're looking for some strategic focus. This might be you want one path for client attraction that you really want to nail, that's aligned with your offers, aligned with your ideal client, and you want to focus on increasing visibility for that one key platform channel attraction method. Maybe you want to improve your capacity or hire, refine your offers and pricing. Let me tell you guys, offers and pricing is the main reason people come to me, because if the goal is attached to the wrong offer and the wrong pricing, you're going to be working towards something that just ends up being frustrating because it doesn't work. When you choose priorities instead of endless goals, your decisions are going to get easier. Your calendar is going to get clearer. Your to-do list is going to be more refined. And your energy gets protected because you are working on one thing at a time. Your reflection question for number 3 is, if I could only focus on one thing this year that would meaningfully move my business forward, what would it be? Let's move on to CEO move number 4. Let's design your business around your life and not the other way around. Some of you came from a work environment that you are trying to escape. You created a business so that you didn't have to work in a certain environment, so you didn't have to sacrifice your family time, so that you didn't have to choose between different things that matter to you in order to make a difference in your job and your career. So you started a business, right? And then you find that this business ends up being very similar to what you left. You're overworking. It doesn't feel consistent. You're not working on the things that really matter to you. So designing your business around your life and not the other way around. This one really, I think, matters the most when we're talking about women business owners. Your business does not exist in a vacuum. You have seasons, right? Whether that's on your family, it's to do with your business fluctuations, but you might not always have the same capacity year round. A lot of the clients I work with want more time off in the summer. They want less clients during the holiday season. And then maybe there's a certain time of year where your industry is just going nuts and you have to take it, but you're trying to balance that because it's also the season your daughter is in competitive soccer and you don't want to miss a game. So that's why entrepreneur business plans are so much different than what you're just going to find on a website to fill out. Your business is different. You may also have family responsibilities. You might also have personal goals. And then you also have energy rhythms. You guys do not all operate the same way. You have different ways that work for you. So when planning ignores those realities, you end up burning out. Strategic planning means you stop pretending you're available 24/7 all the days of the year, and you start designing a business that works with your life and doesn't work against it. So it's not about lowering standards. Some of you guys think that means that then you can't earn what you want to earn because you're not going to be available all the time and work as much as you did in your corporate career. That's not true. It's about creating sustainability. A plan that doesn't reflect your real life, that's not a good plan. When I work with you on capacity, We look at your offers, your ideal schedule, and your revenue goals. Capacity is not just about how many hours you want to work with a client. It is strategizing your ideal schedule, how much you want to make, how often you need to work with a client to get a true transformation. We work together to determine a workable formula. This is unique for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. You are part of the equation, and it's not just numbers. So this is important to do before you go plan your year and what's going to be on your calendar. You need to figure out what your capacity truly is and how you want your business to run so that you can have the schedule you're looking for. So my reflection for CEO move number 4 is to ask yourself, what does my real capacity look like this year? And how can my business plan support that instead of fighting it? CEO move number 5, last one. I want you to stop planning in isolation. This is the piece most business owners avoid, and it's the one that can create the biggest shift. I get it that planning alone feels safer. It avoids vulnerability. It avoids having to admit what you don't know, what you haven't tracked, what those real numbers look like. But isolation is where the blind spots live. CEOs don't build strategic plans in a vacuum. I personally work with coaches in my business. It's not a luxury. It is a necessity. It needs to be something that's part of my budget. The amount of clarity and direction that I can achieve in a coaching session is exponentially more valuable than the time I spend alone overthinking without professional input. And this is coming from someone who does business planning for a living. You can't read the label from inside the jar. We are too close to the work to see the patterns. We can't challenge our own assumptions, and we need help focusing when the excitement of a project wears off. At least I know I do. I'm not just preaching this. I actually do live this. And this is why I created the Impact Business Circle. I know you've heard me talk about it before, and it's not just to help owners plan, but to help them build a strategic entrepreneurial business plan that's rooted in their strengths, their lifestyle, and their long-term vision. Planning is not just about clarity, it's about follow-through, and that happens faster with support. I mean, we all need people. So your reflection question for number 5 is, where do I need outside perspective or accountability to make this year's plan stronger than the last? Now, if you've been avoiding yearly planning, I just want to remind you, it's not because you're lazy or because you're unmotivated. It's likely you don't want to waste time creating another plan that might not stick or that you're going to be too busy to follow through on. You are not alone in that. And for those perfect planners, I'm sure you don't want to create that perfect plan with all the color coding and all the tabs and all the systems, and then you don't actually use it because that plan might not be aligned with what you want your business to actually look like. What would happen if your plan actually came to fruition? Would you be happy with what it looks like in your day-to-day? All of you hoping for double the new clients, are you going to like that on a day-to-day basis? Is it going to feel overwhelming? Do you have the systems in place to absorb double the clients? Have you stopped to look at what that's going to look like for your schedule? We really want you to create a business based on what you want, but you have to stop and look at the big picture first. We don't want to just plan tasks when we're planning for our yearly business activity. Yes, that is down the road and that is a part of it, but I want you to start with the bigger picture. These 5 CEO moves are the difference between planning just to feel organized and planning to actually grow. And if you're ready to stop doing it alone, if you want structure, strategy, accountability, and a plan that reflects your life and strengths, I'd love to support you inside the Impact Business Circle. I'll link details in the show notes. Right now is really a great time to join the group. We can go over your business plan. If you don't have one, we create that in the program through monthly one-on-one calls. So you will have one-on-one strategy calls with yours truly. We'll go through your signature business framework and create that into a PDF and an online digital document that you can keep with you. So when you need to make those decisions, you have the information to base it on. And I have all of that set up. So you just have to show up and we'll work through everything. And then you also have the group for your mastermind calls to get input. I hold you accountable for what you said you were going to do for your task. It's a gentle but firm accountability to help you actually get where you want to go this year. So let's make this year the year that you achieve your business goals. Lastly, I just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. It's always odd for me to be sitting in my office talking into a void with what feels like just talking to myself. But I hope that it's helped you over the last few years with some business strategy, some ideas, some ways to get organized in your business. If you ever want to reply back to an email or send me a note, I love to hear which part of the episode spoke to you and what kind of topics you're interested in. So as I plan my 2026, if you have topics that you would like me to cover on entrepreneurial life, business strategy, or if you have a specific guest that you think would be a good fit for our audience, I would love to hear it. You can reach out to Robin at womensbusinessworkshop.com and let me know. But just wanted to say thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. And it's fun to know that there's people out there listening to the podcast. All right, now I'm going to say it. You know what comes next? Now go get back to work.